This is the story of how I used a digital solution to a logistical problem. The logistical problem I had was that I couldn't be in two places at the same time. I'd arranged to be at a conference in Swindon, and then my timetable was rearranged at short notice, and I had a clash. I could take time out from the conference, but I couldn't get back to Liverpool for a 9 o'clock start, so I decided to run the class from my hotel room in Swindon. And I needed some software to do that, and CLL staff suggested Adobe Connect. So I investigated it. I thought that I could manage its demands. I looked at my own materials and adapted them to make them suitable for online usage. I explained everything to the students and asked them to log on to this meeting at the appropriate time. I sent them this information by email, and I also posted it on Vital. On the day, I launched the meeting before 9 o'clock so that it was all ready, and checked in to see who'd arrived at the appointed time, and they drifted in. So that all worked very well. Once the class had started, I think they were treating it perfectly seriously as a proper teaching platform, and we engaged with one another through questions and answers, just as I had intended to do in the face-to-face class. And they'd had an example of that from the previous week. So I count it as success. The participation was fine. Nothing much to say about it, really. There were a couple of problems. One was that I disabled the audio functions in the software. Software which does allow you to speak and listen, but I hadn't activated that, so I wasn't using that in this actual classroom. That's fine. Reading and writing can substitute for talking and listening a lot of the time, but this was a class about English phonetics, so it was a bit limiting. It would have been nice to have been able to illustrate the sounds that we were talking about. Glossal stops, for instance. The other problem was the absentees. I can't honestly say that there were more absentees than there would have been for a regular class. But the absentees that there were, I have no way of knowing at the moment whether it was just the 9 o'clock start that made them absent, or whether it was something about not taking an online class as seriously as they would take a regular class. If these things become habitual, normal, ordinary, then that kind of problem is likely to go away. One of the advantages is that the recording of the proceedings is now itself an additional resource. I can offer it to them as feedback on their understanding of the topic, and once it's uploaded on Vital, it'll be a useful resource for them in their revision. I hope so, anyway. So that's my digital story.